Hello, Grae here, and this is my review for Star Wars Andor Episode 9. So the episode starts with Deidre interrogating Bix. As usual, the Empire uses their methods to extract information out of the people they're interrogating. So Bix eventually caves and tells Deidre everything she knows. So nothing out of the ordinary, except probably this will what will lead Bix to eventually join up with the rebels. Moving to the prisoner side, we see Andy Serkis, aka Kino, talking to Olaf because he appears to be deteriorating for all the labor they are doing. This is interesting because it actually shows a bit of humanity in Andy Serkis's character. It's not just your typical, oh, I want to get out of here, so I'll do whatever it takes. I'll sacrifice whoever I want to just to get what I want. No, but it shows legitimately he is caring for the others' welfare so that they could also eventually make it out and live their lives again. As we suspected last episode, Cassian was actually trying to develop a plan so that he can eventually escape in the prison. So it was confirmed this episode that that was actually what was implied in the previous episode. So while he was planning that, apparently, there's something going on in the other prison, in the other side of the prison. I think it's prison 2, and there seemed to be something going on. Like there's suddenly a commotion and anxiety between all the prisoners until Kino came up and say, "Just comply, and there's everything will be all right, and nothing's going on." But we know that it is apparently not the case. Interestingly enough, apparently Mon Mothma and Vel are actually cousins. So I can imagine later on Vel doing even more missions for the rebels, and Mon Mothma being pushed further and further to supporting them as the rebels. So even now, you can already see that Mon Mothma is telling Vel, uh, "Please calm down for the time being. There's already enough happening, so pretend to be a noble woman for the time being." Which is interesting because I don't think that's gonna happen in the succeeding episodes, given Vel's nature and what's about to transpire, especially with the Empire cracking down. I imagine Vel will be pressured to doing more missions, especially she's on the mission to take out Cassian. That should make things more interesting action wise. And I would believe it would probably blow her cover actually. And it might bring Mon Mothma in danger, given her position as a senator. And not to mention, Mon Mothma is in danger because of her 400,000 fund transfer. She needs to find a way to be able to cover that. Speaking of the fund transfer, I'll jump the gun a bit so that I don't have to keep going back and forth to Mon Mothma. So her friend Tay visits her and tells her that it will be very difficult to cover her fund transfer unless she consults with a seemingly scrupulous individual named Davo Skolden, who is apparently a banker. Probably more details in the next succeeding episodes, but I imagine he is not a very should we say moral individual. Given the implied background of Davo, this puts Mon Mothma in even greater risk and danger, seeing that Davo wants to meet her right at her very home. So she will be witnessed by her husband and probably her daughter, and she'll be subject to scrutiny and suspicion within the Empire. In a nutshell, she is in deep and she literally cannot do anything about it. In Karn's side, it's interesting that despite what Deidre did to clear his name, he still wants to serve the Empire. So this shows dedication or loyalty of an individual, not necessarily for the good, which is the rebels. You can see the gray area that there's also good and dedicated individuals who just want to serve and do their job with the Empire. Again, another gray area that Andor tackles very well compared to your traditional Star Wars movie. So hoping that there will be more of this, and Deidre will eventually bring Karn back in the fold, which I'm actually rooting for. Moving back to Cassian, we can see that he is trying to convince Kino to join him and the other prisoners to formulate a plan to escape. But Kino, given at this time, he's still dedicated, and maybe there's an ounce of reservation or self doubt, but overall, he was still planned on following the rules and serving his sentence so that he could finally get out. Unfortunately, his dedication and loyalty was for naught. As Olaf succumbs to a stroke, the doctor treating him secretly reveals to him the truth. A prisoner who was supposed to be released was mistakenly taken to prison too, forcing the guards to kill all the prisoners in prison too. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Kino realizes that they were never meant to make it out of there, eventually making him join with Cassian and the prisoners. Overall, I enjoyed episode 9. Granted, it wasn't action-packed like we anticipated last podcast. It is still suspenseful all throughout. Hopefully, we get more action in the next episode, given that Kino already officially joins the prisoners. Regardless, my sentiments remain the same. I love the gray areas that the series covers, as well as the nuance in each of the characters. And to add, I was actually expecting Kino and Cassian to actually have a face-off, because I actually believe that Kino will be uptight and loyal until the very end, which will eventually lead to his downfall. But apparently, no, he actually joins Cassian, which should prove to be actually more interesting. And that wraps up my review. Kindly like and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.